السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. لن ينال الله لحومها ولا دماؤها ولكن يناله التقوى منكم. كذلك سخرها لكم لتكبروا الله على ما هداكم وبشر المحسنين. صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم. ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. My dear respected listeners, it is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the whole ummah has completed a great act of worship wherein representatives from all Muslim communities more or less gather for the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to express their humility and their submission and listening to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the spirit of obeying the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever Allah says, a Muslim does. When Allah tells us to wear nice clothing, we do our best, whichever set of clothes is best that we have, we use it. When Allah tells us to eat, these are the days of eating and celebration, we eat and we celebrate. When a month comes when Allah tells us that you cannot eat and you cannot drink, we stay away from food and drinks. When Allah tells us that you have to make a journey, and before reaching that place where you are supposed to be at, and even way many miles before you actually reach that place, you are not allowed to wear any stitched clothing, any fancy clothing. You are only allowed to cover yourself with 2 plain sheets of cloth. Then we do that. When Allah tells us to stay in the desert, we do so. When Allah tells us to go around a certain house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the building that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called Ka'batullah, the place, the station, then we do so. When Allah tells us to run between 2 mounds, we do so. When Allah tells us to stay in the desert under the open sky, we do so. When Allah tells us to sacrifice animals, we do so. If you think about it, and if you like to apply your logic, your understanding, you try to find a purpose behind the very act itself, none of the examples that I just gave make any sense. Why does Allah care to make me not wear stitched clothing? Why does Allah care to make me go around a certain place again and again and again? Why does Allah care? What benefit does it give to humanity or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, na'udhu billah, that I run between 2 mounds? What benefit does it give to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or what benefit does it give to any human being? All of these are examples of where we have to listen to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if it does not make any sense to us. And we have to understand that our brains, our intellects, our understanding are very small. If we start applying our logic and start trying to judge everything that our Allah tells us based on our logic and our knowledge and our understanding, we are doomed to fail. We are doomed to fail. Therefore, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us an understanding when we try to think and we try to, some Muslim scholars, they are apologetic towards this command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that animals have to be sacrificed, and they try to present different reasons behind what is the benefit for humanity or what is the benefit for people for the sacrifice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us that this sacrifice, this act of sacrifice that you do, don't think that it has any benefit for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لَن يَنَالَ اللَّهَ لُحُومُهَا وَلَا دِمَاؤُهَا. Don't think that your Allah gets their meat or their blood or anything. No, Allah does not need it, Allah does not get it. Allah does not take it from you. وَلَكِنْ يَنَالُهُ التَّقْوَى مِنْكُمْ. What Allah is looking for in your hearts is taqwa. What Allah wants to see in your hearts and test you for is taqwa, which is essentially how much do you listen to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When a beloved tells a lover to do something, the lover does not think twice. A true lover does not think twice. They do what they are being told. Therefore, taqwa is the real essence, the real goal behind all of these ibadat. And Allah, our Creator, who knows us best, He has created these tests. Therefore, the one answer to why do we sacrifice is because our Allah has commanded us. There might be benefits that we might keep on thinking, and our intellect and our understanding might keep on becoming aware of. But even if we cannot find one benefit and one logical reason behind a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we know that it is a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we have to do it. Then some people, apologetic ones, they try to say that sacrifice is basically sacrifice by word, by the spirit of the word. So any sort of sacrifice would do. We could spend money, we could do some sort of other sacrifice, and that, according to our intellect, is going to benefit humanity. And we think that the purpose of our ibadat, our acts of worship, is to benefit humanity. The purpose of our ibadat is to show our humility and our submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost, rather than trying to think of the benefit of others before expressing our humility. And humility and submission cannot be expressed by finding your own ways of fulfilling the command of the Beloved. Whatever the Beloved is saying, that is what we are going to do exactly as He is telling us, rather than finding our own ways that this is another further beneficial way. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this hadith that we read in Eid khutbah pretty much across the world, that Eid khutbah contains a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam which says that there is nothing more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, the regular deeds that we do, that are farais, that we have to do, but in the special deeds that we do, there is nothing more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the shedding of the blood of the animal. Ihraqud dam. How specific the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has made it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless his soul, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him. Maybe he knew that there will be a time when people would want to do some other sort of sacrifice. Therefore, he very clearly, without any possible ambiguity, he said the shedding of the sacrificial animal. He did not use the word sacrifice. He did not use the word nahl. He did not use anything. He said shedding of the blood of the sacrificial animal. That is the most beloved act to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these 3 days. The first date is the most beloved. The second date is, if somebody cannot do it on the first day, they should do it on the second day. And the third day is also allowed, the 12th of Zil Hajj, but most preferable are the first 2 days. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further tells us that this is how Allah has given these animals under your control. كَذَلِكَ سَخَّرَهَا لَكُمْ. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them under your control, so that you can chant and express and declare through your actions the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So again, the spirit of sacrifice is not to express the greatness of our intellect, how we can think what is beneficial for us or the humanity. We have to express the greatness and the perfect authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the life scheme of Sayyidina Ibrahim ala nabina salatu wassalam and Had Ismail ala nabina salatu wassalam, that the commands that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them, if it were you and me, na'udhu billah, we would have said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, what is the sense behind it? Why should I leave my wife and my small infant child who is breastfeeding in a barren desert where there is nothing? Why should I sacrifice my own son? Ya Allah, I am 100. It comes in narrations that when Had Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam got his son finally after long years of dua, he was 86 years old and he got his first baby. And roughly, Had Ismail was roughly 13 years old when this act of sacrifice took place. So imagine a 100-year-old father and his only child, who has just become able to run with him, play with him, be of help to him. Allah is telling him to sacrifice him. Sacrifice him for me. Imagine, does it make any sense to our intellect? Does it make any sense to our logic? But Had Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and Hazrat Ismail, they did it. They fulfilled. Allah is testifying that they did it. قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا. You have completed that test. You have brought that dream to reality. So my dear respected brothers, the first lesson, as I mentioned in the Eid khutbah as well, is to learn to submit. Is to learn to submit, not only with your body and do ruku and sujood and qiyam, but also with your minds. Also with our intellect and our logic. Our logic, our understanding, my aql, my brain, my mind, all of those have to submit and become Muslims. And becoming Muslim means to submit. So therefore, even if we feel that what I am doing is not of any benefit to me or to anyone else, this one reason should be the most supreme and have the most precedence in my mind, that my Allah is telling me to do it, I will do it. My Allah is saying do this, I will do this. It does not matter if it makes sense to me or not. The second thing that we should learn is that we have to sacrifice. And sacrifice is what makes people beloved in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, accepted in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a special honor among the long series of Anbiya, a special mention time and again of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam as being the Khalil, the close friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The reason is that he sacrificed so much. He sacrificed so much time and again. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself has said that we tested Ibrahim multiple times, again and again, and he completed all those tests. All those tests he completed. And therefore he got the honor of being the great-great-grandfather of our beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed not only him, but his future generations to come, alayhi salam. So therefore, my dear respected brothers, we should be ready to sacrifice. And the kind of sacrifice that Ibrahim alayhi salam gave, or Ismail alayhi salam gave, or our beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam gave every single day of his life, none of those sacrifices are demanded from us. The sacrifice that is demanded, the mujahada, the struggle that is demanded from us is very simple and very easy. The commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that apply to our life, the shariat of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they are very easy in their nature. Ad-deenu yusrun. Deen is very easy. What does that mean? That means the commands that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to you, they are very easy to fulfill. Everybody can do it. There has been a particular, when we are reading about moon sighting and those things, the Islamic calendar, we read that Allah has made a system that even a lay person, a person who does not know any math, any calculation, any science, can apply those teachings of Islam to himself. When he has to open the fast, break the fast, he can simply go outside and look on the horizon. When he has to stop fasting, stop eating, he can simply go out and look outside. Allah has made things very simple. If someone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept prayer for everybody, it is very easy and simple to do. People learn it within a single day. The postures are not, some exercise postures that we learn these days, they are so hard to do, right? It requires so much struggle. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the worship that He has commanded and the postures that He has given, they are very easy to do. A person of sound intellect takes basically 5 to 10 minutes in learning to learn how to pray. And then the things that we have to recite, it takes basically a week maybe to learn those things. Learn 2 surahs of the Quran and learn the Fatiha, and essentially you are pretty much doing all the wajibat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it so easy. So all the acts of worship Allah has made very easy. The sacrifice, that mujahada, that struggle that Allah is asking from us, the shariat and the people of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is very easy. It will be enforced very forcefully, but in itself it is very easy. When people say that combine Asr and Zuhr, deen is easy, that's not what it means. What Allah has told, that will be enforced, but praying Zuhr and praying Asr itself is very easy. So the mujahada that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked of us, that is very small. When the time for salah comes, give up what you are doing, come to the masjid. Forget about everything, come to the masjid, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That is all that we are being asked. When haram comes before you, turn away from it, stay away from it. Very easy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us an understanding. This is the spirit of sacrifice. And every year we are reminded on these days of this spirit of sacrifice, that you have to be ready to sacrifice everything that goes against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be ready to break everything. Be ready to give up everything and submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us an understanding. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create the best of effect of what was said and heard on the hearts of the speaker and the listeners. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim wa tub alayna innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Brothers who haven't prayed the sunnah can do so now. Jazakumullah khairan.